So it's 7:30 in the morning, and I've been hearing a very familiar noise. And if you look over at this fence here, I think we've got another trapped sheep. It's been... So, this is not good fencing for these sheep. And I'm going to have to rescue another sheep. They've been in distress. They've been going for about half an hour. Oh, that was enough to get you out, was it? That was enough to get you out. Go on then, off you go. See, just that extra bit of fear that someone was coming up behind them. And that one pulled its head out. So they can get out, but it's not good fencing. It's about sort of 5-inch square fence, and the sheep put their heads through to get the grass in the little copse in the centre there, and then when they go to pull it out, it's stuck. Now that one didn't need help. Yesterday the other one couldn't get out, so it did need help. But it's funny, it's only because I came along that she decided to give it a good pull. And all the other sheep will stay around, you see. Whilst one's in distress, they'll all sit going meh, meh, because they're reassuring her that, or maybe just making enough noise that the farmer will come along eventually and pull her head out.
And can you trust that you won't blow away in the wind?
The farmer's in to round up the sheep. On his quad bike. I was going to say to him about, I might have a word with him about the sheep getting their heads caught all the time. He probably knows, to be honest. It happens so frequently. I'm sure he knows about it. Don't you, Michelle?
I think he probably does. I'm sure it happens. And they probably do get out eventually. They just...
It's like what used to happen to our sheep, Poppy. What did she used to do?
She used to stick her head in the plastic watering can and then come wandering down the road to meet us in the car. Or we were in the car.
She wasn't in the car. She'd drink the bit of water that was left in the bottom of the water. And that's why she put her head in there. And then she'd put her head in, drink the water, and then she'd get up. Of course, the watering can was stuck on her head. And then she would walk around. If we'd gone to the shops or something, she'd wander around with a watering can on her head. And one day we were coming back from our little sort of weekly shop, second weekly shop or whatever we used to do back then, and as we came up the country road where we lived, there's a sheep coming towards us with a big green watering can on its head, and it's Poppy, and she just walked straight into the car, sort of bonk, banged her head on the car, hadn't got a clue what was going on, and it was so funny. It was a bit worrying because she'd gone off of the land and gone onto the road, but our road was barely, I mean, what? Tractor a day. Two tractors a day.
But she didn't learn.
She didn't learn. She did it again and again and again. It's just sheep for you. They're inquisitive, they're playful, but they're also just a little bit stupid. She's taking them all the way through. Way out. Going out of the field, they are. Over to other field. I just spoke with the farmer and his dog Sasha. Very happy to have us on the land, no problems at all. And they're Shetland sheep. And he was saying they're always getting their heads stuck in this, it's just the right size for them. But I was saying, Liam, about the sheep getting their heads stuck in those...
Relic net.
Yeah. Is it just because they're young ones now, or?
Yeah, it's just the perfect size to get their head through. They get a bit greedy and think they can get a bit more grass. And
yeah. That used to happen with ours as well. We used to get them occasionally, put their heads in a watering can to get a bit of water that was left in there. And they'd come up with their head on the watering can and walk around for a day and a half with a bloody head on their watering can. They're lovely, soft fleece,
yeah,
right?
they are. It's They say it's a special kind of wool for the Shetland sheep.
Yeah, I noted when I was getting a hand out how beautiful, almost silky, one of the nicest fleeces.
The yows, the female sheep, the actual grown-up ones, they're head to toe in wool. They've got it all over their face as well. So
are you breeding them for wool or for meat?
Meat, yeah.
Okay, but does the wool go for anything or not?
Yeah, we sell the wool, but the price of the wool at the moment is not very great.
No. We used to have Vendean sheep. I don't know if you know the French sheep. And yeah, the wool's worthless, really. I mean, just pay the guy to get almost.
I think everything at the moment is pretty worthless at the moment.
But they're a meat herd then, yeah.
Yes, they are. They are.
All right, thank you for your time, man. All right, love to meet you. Have a great day. Cheers. So yeah, I just think there's Shetland sheep, a lovely sheep, really soft fur around there. Almost silky around their necks and faces, which is unusual. It can be a bit coarse sometimes and a little bit lanolin. Ours used to have a real sort of lot of lanolin around them. Anyway, we're off on the road. So this is our road this morning. We'll rejoin, I think we rejoin the cross-border Drovers Trail at some point. We've got this, it's quite a nice little road, although it's got no proper hard shoulder. I think it's quite a quiet road this morning. I haven't heard a lot of cars coming along it, so we'll be fairly safe. But what a beautiful place.
Although this way 1.6
My pocket has just said 1.6 kilometers. I'm using an off-road hiking app that has speech direction, and it's working reasonably well for us at the moment, but I'll leave that report to the end of the whole of the trail, whether it's good or not, whether I'd recommend it, we will see. But Google Maps is no use at all, not on this sort of trail. Completely ignores all the safe hiking routes and just takes you down roads. If only some of the farmers up in the Northern Highlands, or any of the farmers, could have been that polite. Instead of like shaking your tent, get off my land or I'll cover your tent in shit, even when you're entitled to be on the land. They were so mean-spirited, and we found people, the further south we go, a lot nicer. It's a little unfair to say because we actually met some nice farmers. How nimble we walk in the morning, isn't it, Michelle?
Yeah, see me at the end of the day.
You put the bag on your back, the pack on your back, and you're away, walking as if there's nothing in the world to worry you. And later in the day, we'll probably end up feeling a little more, well, no, a lot more, quite a bit more actually, tired. But if we get the rests right, it's all about getting the right number of rest breaks and the right amount of food in you. And you can kind of keep this going most of the day, or at least sort of 6 or 7 hours of this sort of walking. It's when you overdo it and then you undernourish yourself that you end up finding that everything starts to ache and hurt. So I'm hoping by the time we get the second third of the country done, because we've done a third so far, that would be like this for at least 2 sections of our walk, Michelle.
Yeah, that would be good.
So, that gate doesn't lock. Back off of that road. Back on to country roads. Country roads, take me home. A less frequently walked path. Little signpost there nicely saying Peebles by the Drove Road. Now Peebles isn't on our... Oh, I wish my GPS wouldn't keep interrupting me. Now Peebles isn't on our radar, although some people seem to include Peebles as part of the walk. But we'll definitely be going through it. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of size of town, whether we could have got a little less groceries at the last one. We do still tend to over purchase on food, so our packs get a little heavy with water, but they're quite manageable at the moment. We're quite happy with the weight. There are lots of stinging nettles along this path. And as I was thinking it out, my trouser leg brushed against them and they stung. So now I've got like an itchy leg. They get you even through a pair of cotton trousers. Some little interesting facts about nettle that I learned as a child. Whenever you get stung by nettles, you're never far away, and I think that's a dock leaf. They always grow together, almost always grow together. And you can take dock, I'm pretty sure that's dock there, and rub it on the sting, and it will take the sting away. And there's dock all over the place. So yes, nettles and dock, they do grow together. Another interesting little fact that I learned through a mate of mine when I was a boy was when the nettles, when the flowers are white and they're in bloom, you can grab them with your hands, because that's the time the nettles turn off their defensive mechanism to allow insects to get in and pollinate the flowers. So when they're white flowers on the nettles, they don't sting. Oh, Michelle's getting a long way ahead of me. So, interesting facts. Hope they're useful to you. It's remarkable. It's a very cold day, but just taking my hat off, I've probably got the most beautiful hat hair. Not that I care. And we're climbing uphill, so it's getting hot and sweaty again. I said to Michelle when we were down there, I hope we're not going over those hills, but I knew we were. Private, it says. We could have cut off a big corner if this farm allowed people through, but they don't, and they don't have to. But a little bit mean-spirited for the amount of hikers we see. I'm sure they've had experiences. Anyway, cross-border drover's path. Carry on. Responsible hikers. Well, this is nice. It's a little wood grove, little wooded pathway. The only thing not nice about it, Michelle, is it's still uphill. I'm tempted to take a layer off because I'm pretty hot and sweaty, but that means I'm going to be cold from the wind chill. There's a little old dried mushroom there. But this is a chicken of the woods, but it's well old, look. It's a big one. At the right time of year when they're fresh, they make very good cooking mushrooms. You do have to be a bit careful. Some people can have an allergic reaction to them, so take a little bit, just take a little nibble and see if you have any swelling. But if you don't, they're very good eating, but I'm not recommending it. Another important note I should make, wild chicken in the wood is a great eating mushroom. If it grows on an oak, I think it's good. If it grows on a beech, I'm not sure. You might have to check that yourself, or comment down below. There's certain trees that it's safe to eat if it grows on. I think oak is one of them. There's a lot of oak trees up here, and a forest of conifers here. I rather see these deciduous oak trees. When you get a lot of conifer, it can mean you're up high, and that can mean you're getting cold. But these trees, that's not an oak, is it?
No, it doesn't look like an oak.
No. But these trees are mighty old, some of them. My temperature's all over the place. I've taken my top off now and then need my hat on because I'm only in the t-shirt, one layer, because the maximum temperature today is going to be about 12 degrees, but there's a real wintry wind. Now, a week ago, the temperature's well up into the 20s. So just a week's change, and it's probably, the weatherman could tell us, there'd be a cold front coming in, but it's made a huge difference, and I really kind of wish that it would go back to being just a bit more moderate. About 18 to 20 degrees would be very nice, and if that sun would just break out from the clouds to warm our bodies as we walk, would also be nice. But yeah, it's on the cusp today. T-shirt, I'm a little bit cold. Another layer on, I'm a little bit warm. Now we pass into a mixed forest of deciduous and conifers on this side, but we're completely in the shade, so I'm cold again. I'm kind of, oh, I wish I could find the right temperature. Probably, and I sent it back when we were in Glasgow, but probably an old style vest would do the trick in this sort of jumpy up and down weather. Oh yeah, they're all old mushrooms though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they're toadstools over there.
Yeah.
Probably that is as well.
Probably.
Hearing a crow just a moment ago above in the trees. It's almost like got that sort of Sherwood forest feel, as if bandits would come out at any point and steal our Snicker. We've only got 2 Snickers left, they can't have them. I'll fight them off with my stick.
Oh, did you see all the mushrooms?
I didn't even see them, look at that. Wow. Didn't even see them, I was looking up at the trees. Look at that, it's beautiful.
They're toadstools, aren't they?
They're toadstools, yes. Let's have a little picture. Is that rain in the air?
I think it is, we're in the clouds.
Probably up in the clouds. Oh, open up. We must be nearly time for dinner. Lunch, no, lunch next. Lunch stops soon in the next 20-30 minutes. There's a little sign here just to say we're still on the Drovers Trail. Not up that way, down this way through the dank, cold. Now it is all conifer forest.
But we're going downhill.
We're going downhill, Michelle, you're right. There's always a bright, what's the word I'm looking for? Always a good point. And look, you probably can't see down here, but I can see toadstools the size of dinner plates ahead of us. They're huge, all over. I did wonder if they were only growing on the deciduous side of the wood, but down here and over there, they're growing under the conifers as well, which is cool. And look at all the mushrooms. Can you see the grey? All these mushrooms. Wow, this would be great. I mean, you can't eat a lot of what is here. God, come and have a look at this. Look at this. I mean, the whole pathway is like it, but look at the size of these fellas. Wow, there's the size of my hand. Now, truth be known, some of them may be poisonous, some of them may be edible. In France, we used to pick mushrooms, like not like the red capped ones, but the bigger one, the Blutus, and Blutus they used to call them.
I think so, yeah.
And in France, you could take them to the local chemist,
The pharmacy.
pharmacy, and they would tell you whether or not you could eat them or not. That was part of their remit. Look at that pretty one there. Those big ones. It wouldn't surprise me if some of those big ones were edible, but you know, I'm not risking it for a biscuit.
Look at that one over there. Oh, that's true. I thought it was one huge one.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very pretty as well. It's where the fairies have their breakfast. Look at this. I'll come in closer, you can see. Amazing. First time we've really seen toadstools in that sort of number, but it's probably also because it's coming towards the winter or the autumn, late autumn, middle autumn. Actually, it's the beginning of the autumn. It looks like the path just drops off into a chasm. You look at that. Wow. Look at that. It's as if we drop off into the middle of nowhere. Look at that. Wow. We are in the middle of nowhere again, Michelle.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the scale of this valley. It's huge. It's miles across, and it feels like we're in the middle of absolute nowhere. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, if only the sun would come out now and put a bit of colour and light on these hilltops. and warm us through a little bit, Michelle. I think we'll be having our lunch along this stretch.
I think so.
Yeah, our little lunch stop, first one of the day. Absolutely beautiful. It's bizarre. I do hope we're not going through that conifer wood up right in the middle there. Can you see this one here? Yeah, I hope we're not going through that. That'll be back in the cold. Unless the sun's out and it's super hot this afternoon, which I highly doubt. River crossing coming up. 2 people wearing sandals who don't really want to get wet. So what are people doing? It looks like they're making a new pathway through this slightly boggy ground here. And yeah, they're making the jump. Michelle won't like this. She won't like this, but she's got the sticks, so she can do it. It's a case of going on to there. So go on to there. Find your hard spot there. You can't really come much lower than that. Are you going to be able to make that jump? My hand's here. Whee! Love that girl. Done it. We're dry. Well, we don't want to get wet, and we have.
The most agile of hikers.
You're getting agile. She's not a natural sort of cross-country. You know, when I was younger, and even now, to be honest, I can run down hills like this and pick out the stones as I run. Michelle can't, but
You probably saw my concentration face there.
yeah, she did well. How many of you would have done that jump with 15 kilos on your back at not 35? Well, you're the black-faced sheep that are hardy. Can live on this mountainside without any effort. Now down in the valley there, way off, you won't be able to see it, there's a piece of machinery putting in posts. They're obviously there's a quad bike a little higher up. They're obviously putting in new fencing up here, and we've just heard Serkan is my girl, Serkan is my girl. That is my alarm. So it's just lunchtime. The lunchtime alarm has gone to remind us to look for a place to stop. So in the next short while, we're going to sit down and put a brew on and have a complete recharge. And I'm feeling good, Michelle.
I'm feeling good today.
Feeling good. Well, you look at the valley that we've just stepped into. Quite amazing. It's a little bit funny because the screensaver on my phone had a beautiful landscape on it, and then I looked up to this was so much more pretty than the photograph on my phone. Just saying to Michelle, this is the Jogle walk that I'd hoped for. It might be a bit of wind, but this is absolutely gorgeous. So a quick question to you all, and I won't be able to answer them, but I'd love to hear what you have to say, and we will read it. Would you love to be up here walking? I hope so. Honestly, apart from the ferns are in the way, I mean, look at the view. What a lovely stop. We've got beans and rice. We've got some chocolate biscuits. Nice hot brew. Good, Michelle? Absolutely lovely. Been a good day today. I like this border crossing drove, or the, what do they call it?
Cross borders drove path.
Cross borders drove pass. It's my favourite part so far. How the weather can change. So we just finished our lovely little lunch, and this sort of missile pissle it's coming down, so we look like a couple of Herberts again. But there's sun over there. Come on, sun, stop raining. Don't make us have to walk in the rain. There's a tricky spot here because our map that I plotted goes across this moorland, but I mean, I can't see how you can do it, to be honest. The main road, and we are going to Peebles, says come this way. My app keeps saying make a U-turn. Just up ahead of me, I made 3 U's turn. And I made a ram a little bit nervous.
The tour is being adjusted.
Come down here and poop all over our path, silly sheep. Sheep poo really sticks to your feet, to your shoes. It's like plasticine. Another end-to-ender coming the other way, of course.
Yeah.
Going the sensible way with the wind behind. You be quiet in my pocket. What day are you on?
I'm day 45, plus I've had about 5 rest days.
Yeah, and you've
so
got
about 50-ish.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you've got Instagram. You said what?
Instagram Pete Williams 772. There must be 771 before me. So.
All right.
Somebody beat
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was Peter. Another end-to-end. We rarely meet them, but occasionally when you meet an end-to-ender, somebody doing the walk the other way, it's so good to sit and chat and just encourage each other. As I said to you earlier, we've done a third of the walk now, so Peter has done 2/3.
Yeah, that's cool.
And whoops, fly's gone in my eye. Yeah, it's really nice to meet other walkers. Wow, these uphill sections really drag it out of you. I was just saying to Michelle that we always start the day full of pep, and then you lose some of your energy as the day goes on, and then these big uphill sections come along, and before long we're doing less miles than we first anticipated. Anyway, let's do this uphill section. This is very steep. It's turning downhill a little bit. Look at this pine forest. There are so many fallen trees in that forest. Pines have a much shallower root system than some of the deciduous, so they're always coming down in the storms. They seem to thrive off of being so close together that nothing else can grow on the forest floor below them, and if one falls over it can still grow even if it's just leaning against its neighbour. Quite uplifting to meet someone else doing the walk today, Peter. Very nice to exchange some ideas. And it gives you some sense of ability, you know. 2/3 we've done, sorry, 2/3 Peter's done, 1/3 we've done. You kind of know that us ordinary folk can do this sort of walk. A lot of the people we've met have been youngsters under the age of 30, barely the age of 20 in some instances, and they come up here like ferrets, and they're also quite often not carrying a great deal compared to I don't know why us older travellers, probably because we're doing it on a much tighter budget, because we're wanting not to spend a lot of money on hotel costs. So yeah, it's nice to see someone who's coming up with a big backpack on and who's done quite a bit of the walk. It's such a fast rate down. I stopped for a quick wee. Where's Michelle? Vanished. Completely out of sight. There's a good basis for a book there, isn't it? Bit of a thriller, something Stephen King-ish, you know, never to be seen again. I wouldn't like it. I can just about see little flashes of white. I wouldn't mind, but it was only a quick wee. She's like a gazelle. Wow. Oh, look, we're coming out into the open again. It's getting beautified. Look at that. I daren't pause. I daren't pause to admire it. Should be in Peebles. Sat down at the picnic table before I even get there. No idea how far Peebles is from here. I could check, but where's the surprise in that?
We had to walk down that hill and not up.
Yeah, I say I only stopped for a quick whittle. You're miles ahead. Look at this. This is rather glorious.
Got a sign.
Does it say how far Peebles is?
No, but Old Drive Road to Peebles, and I reckon it's that gate.
Which gate?
That gate with the yellow bit on it.
Yep, okay, I'm willing to go along with that. So we're going across the field that way. Ooh, that's set your teeth on edge.
Isn't it?
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a yellow sign on the far gate. There's an abandoned house there, a little old stone house. We see a lot of those up in Scotland. A lot of these black-headed sheep. A lot of beautiful countryside. Can't believe all day.
All day we've not
We haven't seen that sun. I didn't know where it was up or down, and it's almost the end of the day. It's just going over the mountain, and it came out in a little bit of blue sky. Ah, what a nasty thing to do at the end of the day, sunshine. You might as well have just stayed hidden. Look at this. Please keep off the hills, lambing in progress. Looks a bit old to me, and I smell more bullshit than lamb shit. And look, all the way down there's been no fence. So see a farmer who's not wanting people to camp up here. But look at the view. We may be camping up here anyway because we're getting tired and the sun is setting. But look at that view across Peebles. That's the town or city, I don't know, of Peebles. Will you look at this view? Wow. And we've got a nice flat bit of grass. There's the field over there the farmer wants everyone out of, which we're not in. We're on a very well established right of way, and the sun will come up just about between those valleys, I think. It's going to be gorgeous tomorrow.
If it feels like coming up.
If the sun comes today, not a drop of sun. We haven't seen it all day, but look over there now, over the mountain. It's come out in the blues about 40 minutes before it completely vanishes. Pooh! This is our spot. I'd like to get red sky at night, but look at the colour of these clouds. They're gorgeous. Oh, and of course, look at where we're camped. It's pretty awesome. I hope it's a good night. We don't get too disturbed. Camp right there.
You need to go up for gold.
And the gold place. Oh, gracefully done, Michelle.